Hello Tangam, welcome to Gully Classroom. This is the third lecture in which chapter sir? In the chapter light, reflection and refraction in CBSE 10 physics science book chapter 10 light, reflection and refraction. This is the third lecture taken in English. This is the third lecture taken in English. Okay sir, what are we going to study in this particular lecture? In this particular lecture we will study what are the different types of images that are formed by concave mirror and convex mirror for different positions of the objects, Okay sir, in order to understand this lecture, what do I need to study first? In order to better understand this lecture, you need to first study the first and the second lectures in this series, because in the first and the second lectures I would have already covered what is a concave mirror, what is a convex mirror, why is concave mirror a converging mirror, why is convex mirror a diverging mirror, what is pole, focus, center of curvature, what is focal length, radius of curvature, why the principal focus and center of curvature lies in front of the concave mirror, why the principal focus and center of curvature lies behind the convex mirror. All these have already covered in the last two lectures. So you are required to study those lectures in order to better understand what is going to happen here. Can we get to this lecture? Absolutely sir. Before we get to this lecture, you need to understand a very important thing. What sir? The distance between F and P is called as focal length. The distance between C and P, the difference between center of curvature and P, is called as radius of curvature. Essentially, radius of curvature is nothing but focal length is nothing but half of radius of curvature. Focal length is nothing but half of radius of curvature, which means this value is half of this value. The focal length is half of radius of curvature, which means this and this are of same length. This and this are of same length. This and this are of same length. This and this, this and this, this and this. Even in a convex mirror, the distance between pole and focus, focal length, and the distance between focus and center of curvature is absolutely the same. This and this are same. This and this are same. Are you able to understand this particular area? Drawing F right in the middle of C and P is essential for getting very good diagrams. Okay sir, first let us try to understand what kind of image will be formed when the object is at infinity. Okay, let us go for object at infinity. When the object is at infinity, you are going to get parallel rays coming out of it. How am I supposed to understand this sir? Understanding this is very simple. Let us assume a light source at the tip of my pens. So let us assume a light source at the tip of my pens. The path of the light from this light source can be imagined along my hands. So the path of the light from this light source can be imagined along my hands. Okay sir, I am comfortable. Now what are you going to tell? Let us say the light source is slightly moving away. What will happen? My hands will slightly open. Okay, you let us say the light source is even going farther. What will happen? My two hands will slowly open. At some point when the light source is at a relatively longer distance, which can be assumed as infinity, at some point the light source, as it is moving away from us, it will be at such a distance that it will assume to be at infinity. The two lines of light coming from that particular source will become parallel. Yeah, are you absolutely able to understand this? Okay, now so we are understanding that light sources at infinity are going to simply send us parallel beams of light. So we are getting two parallel beams of light. So two parallel beams of light after reflection in a concave mirror will absolutely pass through the principal focus. So what kind of image am I getting here? The kind of image I am getting here is a point image. The kind of image I am getting here is a point image. You should always put arrows in each and every light ray. Without an arrow, that is absolutely not considered a light ray. You will lose marks. Okay, so my light ray is coming like this and coming like this. My light ray is coming like this and coming like this. It is meeting here. When two light rays meet after reflection, they form an image. What type of image is this forming? It is forming a point image. It is forming a point image. That is fine. A point image is being formed at where? A point image is being formed at F. Okay, what kind of point image is it forming? It is forming a real and inverted image. Sir, how am I supposed to understand that this image is a real image? Here, actual energy is being focused. Light rays, let us say, from an object at infinity, from an object, we can simply consider the object as the sun. So, light rays from the sun. Sun is absolutely at infinity. It is going to send us parallel beams of light. That particular light is simply coming like this, getting reflected and getting concentrated, getting converged at F, forming a point image which is real and inverted. Point image which is real and inverted. Sir, what if I am going to draw a normal here? The lines passing through C are called as normal. So this is going to be theta I, angle of incidence. This is going to be theta R, angle of reflection. That is fine. Okay, sir. Now I want to understand what will happen when an object is beyond C. Here what is happening? Object beyond C. Object beyond C. Okay, now what will happen, sir? Here, once more, a parallel beam of light to the principal axis can be drawn. This will be, as in the case here, sent towards F, Beautiful. Now what next will happen? I am going to use a beam that is passing through C. I am going to use a beam that is passing through C. Sir, if you are going to use a beam that is passing through C, what will happen? The light ray is going outside the mirror. Not an issue. Simply extend the mirror. It is our mirror, right? So it is not really an issue. You can simply extend the mirror. So the light ray is coming like this. A light ray passing through C is going to be passing through the path of the normal. Through the path of the normal, if a light ray is passing through the path of the normal, it is reflected along the same path. A light ray passing through C, through the path of the normal, will be reflected along the same path. So it will once more go along the same path. Sir, what is happening here? The two light rays are meeting right in the middle of C and F, and I am getting a inverted real image. I am getting a inverted real image, but it is a diminished image. I am getting a diminished, okay, inverted, okay, and real image between where? C and F, between C and F. Here I am using two light rays, one parallel to the principal axis which is passing through F, one through C, through the path of the normal, which is reflected in the same path. So they are meeting in between C and F, which I am getting a diminished inverted real image. Okay, sir, I am comfortable. I am comfortable with this particular idea. Now let us go for the next thing. Let us go for here I am going to draw an object right at C. I am going to draw an object right at C. Okay, once more, this is what I am going to do. I am going to draw a parallel line to the principal axis. Obviously, this parallel line will pass through F. This parallel line will beautifully pass through F. Okay, sir. Now, obviously, redraw whatever you have. Simply rubbed off. Okay, now what about the second ray? I will draw the second ray in such a way it is passing through F. I will draw the second ray in such a way it is passing through F. Okay, now what is happening, sir? I will draw the second ray in such a way that it is passing through F. Now, the light rays which are parallel to the principal axis will pass through the focus. The light rays which are passing through the focus will become parallel to the principal axis. Okay, sir. I am comfortable with this idea. So this is the diagram over here. I am comfortable with this idea. This is the diagram over here. Okay, now what is happening? Draw your image. I am using red for all my images, just for a sense of uniformity. Okay. One second. Those two will meet over here. Am I right or wrong? Yes, those two will meet over here. When they meet over here, they form a beautiful image. All the red ones are images. All the red ones are simply images. Okay, sir. What about all the black ones? The black ones can be simply called as objects. The black ones can be simply called as objects. If you notice carefully, there is something really beautiful here. The image and the object are of the same size. The image and the object are of the same size. So at C, the image and the object are of the same size. Obviously, the image is real and inverted. So I am getting a same sized at C. When the object is at C, when the object is at C, I am getting a same sized real comma inverted image. Real comma inverted image. That is fine. That is fine. So when the object is at C, I am getting a real comma inverted image. I am sending one parallel line that is passing through F. I am sending one line that is going through F and meeting the other light ray over here. Okay, sir. What next? I am going to put an object which is in between C and F. I am going to put an object which is in between C and F. That is fine. Let us put a couple of light rays from it. Obviously, as usual, the first light ray I am going to put is going to be parallel to the principal axis. It is going to be parallel to the principal axis and it is going to pass through F. And it is going to pass through F. What about the next light ray? The next light ray is, I am going to put a light ray which is going to pass through C. I am going to put a light ray which is going to pass through C. Why, sir? Because light rays from C are very easy. Light rays through C are light rays through the normal, which will take the same path as that of the original ray. So from C, from this particular point, I am starting a light ray that is going like this. Sir, here there is not even a mirror. That is not really an issue. Here you can simply extend the mirror. I am going to extend the mirror like this. That is fine. Now what is going to happen? This particular light ray is taking the path along C, which is the path of the normal. When light rays pass through the normal, it will be reflected along the same path. So it will go like this and come back like this. And it will move like this. It will absolutely move like this. Now what will happen, sir? Both these light rays will simply go like this. Okay. So both these light rays, let me draw a better diagram of it. Okay, yeah. Both these light rays will simply go like this and meet over here and meet over here. Look at this beautiful thing. Here, these two light rays are meeting together in order to form an inverted magnified image over here. Extend your principal axis slightly. Put a couple of arrows in order to notify that these are light rays coming along this path. Absolutely. Here, this is going to be my image. This particular image is inverted, real and magnified. So, when the object is between C and F, I am getting an inverted, real and magnified image. Inverted, real and magnified image. Where, sir? Beyond C, obviously. Where? Beyond C. Absolutely. So when I am placing my object between C and F, automatically I am getting an enlarged image which is beyond C. Beautiful, sir. Are you able to understand this particular diagram? It's a very simple idea. Yeah. Cheers. Let us go for the next one. What is the next one? The next one is, I am going to put an object right at F. I am going to put an object right at F. Okay, sir. Now what is going to happen? Obviously, let me put a light ray that is parallel to the principal axis. It will pass through F. What next, sir? I am going to put, let me put P over here. P means pole. The center of the spherical mirror is in fact called as pole. Now, I am going to put another light ray right at the pole. If I am going to put another light ray right at the pole, this is the angle of incidence. When you are using pole as the point of reflection, when you are using pole as the point of reflection for a light ray, which becomes your normal? The principal axis becomes your normal. Okay. So, this is the angle of reflection. This is the angle of incidence. Angle of incidence is the angle between incident ray and the normal. This is the angle of reflection. Angle of reflection is the angle between reflected ray and the normal. That is fine, sir. Now, if you notice closely, these two lines are parallel. Sir, if light rays coming from infinity are becoming parallel, obviously, what will happen? The light rays that are parallel to each other will meet at infinity. The light rays parallel to each other will meet at infinity. Imagine this. Light rays are coming from infinity. What is their nature? So they are obviously parallel. You just gave a very beautiful explanation using your hands as light rays. That is fine. So what will happen to the light rays that are absolutely parallel? They will meet at infinity. So these light rays will meet at infinity and somewhere down over there, and they will form a very, very large. They will form a very, very large. Very, very large. Okay. Real and inverted image. Where, sir? At infinity. Parallel lines meet at infinity. So what is happening to the object over here? The object is at F. The object is at F. What about here? The object is between C and F. The object is between C and F. Are you comfortable with this story? Absolutely, sir. Okay. Now only one position is left. What, sir? In between F and P. So object is between F and P. Principal focus and pole. That is fine. Let us draw this. Let me draw this particular object, a beautiful object over here. Now what is going to happen? What is going to happen is, I am going to do a parallel line like this. Yeah, absolutely, sir. What next? This parallel line will be reflected in such a way that it is passing through F. This parallel line will be reflected in such a way that it is passing through F. What next, sir? Okay, I am going to draw another line that is going and meeting here at P. I am going to draw another line that is going and meeting here at P. It is going and meeting at P. What is going to happen, sir? If at P, then automatically this becomes angle of incidence and this becomes angle of reflection. Angle of incidence and angle of reflection are equal to one another. Sir, these two lines are actually diverging. Tango, remember something totally interesting. Even if these two light rays are diverging right now, they have to be meeting at some point in order to diverge. Sir, give us a better example. Let us say there are two angry brothers fighting with each other. Okay, even though these brothers are fighting with each other right now, they must have been together in their mother's womb. Am I right or wrong? They must have been together in their original ancestral home. Right or wrong? Yes, sir. As kids, they must have been very good friends. Exactly. In order to diverge from each other, the light rays must be starting at some point. In order to get that point, I am going to extend these lines. In order to get that point, I am going to extend these lines. Okay, now what is happening? Sir, these lines are meeting right over here. That is fine. These lines are meeting right over here. Let us extend the principal axis. Let us extend the principal axis and put our enlarged virtual erect image and put our enlarged virtual erect image. Yeah, so this is our image. This is our image. Here, this is our object. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Here, what is the nature of the image? Here, the image is enlarged. Okay, that is fine and obvious. The object is so small, the image is so big. Obviously, it is enlarged. It is erect. Okay, erect. And virtual. It is virtual image. Why, sir, you are calling this as an virtual image? Look here. Here there is no actual energy. The light rays are coming like this. The actual light rays are coming like this and simply getting reflected. Here there is no actual energy. You are simply putting dots to the lines that are diverging from the mirror, joining them and putting an image. This image is not actually formed, but if you look into the mirror, it will look like this image is being formed. There is no actual concentration of energy in this particular condition. If you notice all these conditions, object at infinity, object beyond C, object is at C, object between C and F, object at F, everywhere image energy is actually focused in front of the mirror, So actual energy is focused in all these 5 positions. In the 6th position alone, there is no actual energy being focused. In fact, energy is being diverged, but you can get the image by putting lines behind them and looking from where the lines are actually diverging. Putting lines behind them, extending the lines behind them, and seeing where the lines are diverging from. Are you able to understand how this is happening? Yeah. Okay, Tangam. That's basically concave mirror. Let us go for convex mirror. Or diverging mirror. Concave mirror is a converging mirror. Convex mirror is a diverging mirror. That is fine, sir. Now, what are the two conditions for which you are going to draw in a convex mirror? The first condition is object is obviously at infinity. Okay, so object is obviously at infinity. Beautiful. What next, sir? If the object is at infinity, the light rays will be parallel, and these light rays in a convex mirror will be diverged in such a way that they are coming from the focus. These light rays will be diverged from the convex mirror in such a way that the light rays are coming from the focus. Sir, I am comfortable here. Okay, now what is actually happening? Imagine this. Here the light rays are diverging. What am I supposed to do if the light rays are diverging? You are supposed to draw the lines towards the back. You are supposed to extend the lines towards the back. Where is it meeting? It is meeting at the focus. So, you are getting a point image, not just any point image. You are getting a point, virtual and erect. All virtual images are erect, all real images are inverted. You need not have any doubt in this particular idea. Yeah. So, point, virtual and erect image. Is getting formed over here. Are you comfortable? So, where are you getting the object? The object is at infinity. Here, the object is at infinity. I am using this at. The object is at infinity. Yeah. Okay, Tanga. Let me draw the light ray over here. That is fine. What is the next thing, sir? I am going to have the object in front of the mirror. This is the reflecting surface. I am having the object in front of mirror. Which mirror? Convex mirror. I am having the object in front of the convex mirror. Okay, let us do this. So I am having the object like this. All objects are drawn using black. So I am going to once more put the object over here in black. Okay, object in front of, I am writing it over here. So object in front of convex mirror. Yeah, are you comfortable with what I just did? Yes, sir. Okay, but you could do a better work, you know. You need to draw better. Yeah, I will do a better work of it. I am attempting a better work of it. Okay, let us do a parallel line. When a light is parallel to the convex mirror, it will be reflected in such a way. That it is coming out of the focus. Okay, sir. That is fine. Now, what next? I want to put a light ray that is actually passing through C. Imagine this point and this point. Imagine a line passing from here to here. Okay, so I am going to draw a line visualizing joining of this point and this point. Yeah, that is the line which is passing through C. A light ray which is passing through C is going to be in fact called as normal. And for a normal, the reflected path is going to be the same as incident path. A light ray coming like this will be reflected in the same path, will simply be reflected along the same path. Okay, sir. Look here. So the light ray is starting here, going like this. Since it is going through C, which means the path of the normal. The path of the normal means it will be reflected along the same path. It is diverging. These two rays are diverging. Which means I need to extend these lines behind the mirror. If I am going to extend the lines behind the mirror, they are meeting at a point between P and F. So between P and F, I am getting a diminished. Am I right or wrong? I am getting a diminished virtual and erect image. virtual and the erect image. Absolutely right, sir. Between obviously P and F. Between P and F. Between P and F. Look at the beauty of these two images. For a concave mirror and a convex mirror, when the object is at infinity, the image anyway is always formed at F. But in the case of a concave mirror, the image formed is a real and inverted point image. But in the case of a convex mirror, the image formed is a virtual and a erect image. Here it is a real and a inverted image. There it is a virtual and a erect image. Anyway, the image is always formed at F when the object is at infinity. When the object is at infinity, it is always a point image which is formed at F. Whether it is a concave mirror or a convex mirror, it is not really an issue. Whether it is a concave mirror or a convex mirror, it is not really an issue. It is an important point to compare and consider. It is an important point to compare and consider. Yeah, that's it. What next? What next? Okay, now we have looked at all the possible different types of images that will be formed for different positions of the object. Now I want to simply add applications of spherical mirror to this lecture itself. Sir, isn't it going to be a longer lecture if you are going to add applications over here? Yes, it might be slightly longer, but studying applications immediately after going through these diagrams will make studying applications easier. So I am going to do it anyway. So what are the different applications which can be used for concave mirror? For concave mirror, the different applications that can be used are, it is used in a solar furnace. It is used in a solar furnace. How, sir? In a solar furnace, you need to concentrate energy. Here the light from the sun can be concentrated over here. You can get high temperatures that can be used in a solar furnace. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What is the next application where I can use this particular diagram? Okay. When you are using torch lights, you can use this particular idea. How, sir? Given better understanding. Recall the idea of reversibility of light. Light, if it is traveling in one particular path, it can also travel opposite to that particular path. Light, if it is traveling in one particular path, it has the tendency to, when reversed in direction, it has the tendency to follow the same path. I am repeating myself. Light, when it travels in one particular path, when it is reversed in direction, it has the tendency to follow the same path. So a parallel light ray coming like this and going like this, I can reverse this light ray. I can reverse this light ray to go like this through F. What will happen? It will become parallel to the principal axis. Once more, I can reverse this particular light ray to go through F. I can reverse this particular light ray to go through F. What will happen? It will become automatically parallel to the principal axis. Sir, I can understand this. You have already taught me reversibility of light in the earlier lectures. But what is the use here? Let us say right now I am going to draw a torch over here. This torch will send a lot of light from F towards the concave mirror. Because the light rays are going from F, they will automatically become parallel, and these parallel beams will be more cohesive, will be more focused towards a particular region. If I am using a torch light in a dark room, I am able to see only the place where the torch light is sending its parallel beam. But a light is simply what it is doing, it is sending light in all directions and lighting up the entire room. So a torch light, in order to get parallel beams of light, has a light source at F. The light source at F is focusing the light on the reflecting part of the concave mirror, and it is making the light rays parallel. These parallel light rays are used in torch light. Are you able to understand how it is being used? Okay, it is also used in searchlights. It is also used not just in torch light, it is also used in searchlights and focus lights So these are the different applications of concave mirror when you are using this particular diagram. Sir, are there any more applications? Absolutely, Tangam. Concave mirror is used in fact for shaving. Really? Yes, Tanga. Let us say you are going to military, you are nearby the border, you are safeguarding our country. In those conditions, you will not have a very large plane mirror in order to shave. Because in order to see your chin, a plane mirror produces the same size image as that of the object. So you need a comparatively larger mirror in order to shave. So they will use a concave mirror. What will they do, sir? They will place the face, the object right in between F and P of the concave mirror. So the object, which is the face, will be placed between the F and P of the concave mirror. What will you get? You will get a erect, virtual and a enlarged image. If I am putting a concave mirror over here, nearby my chin, between F and P, I am putting my chin. Between F and P of the spherical mirror, I am putting my chin. Automatically, I will get a enlarged virtual erect image. I will be able to see my chin, obviously, because of the erect image, and I will shave. So, it is used in shaving mirrors. Okay, not in everyday shaving mirrors, but in extreme cases like military. Also, the mirrors in makeup kit. Have you seen the mirrors in the makeup kit? Yes, sir. The mirrors in the makeup kit are very, very small, but we are still able to see our face clearly because they are using the same idea. They are putting your face in between F and P. So you are getting an enlarged erect virtual image. Makeup kit mirrors. Okay, sir. I am comfortable with this particular idea. Are there any other useful applications where concave mirrors can be used? Absolutely. The dentist is using concave mirror using this condition. Dentist uses concave mirror for seeing. Concave, C-O-N-C-A-V-E, concave mirror for seeing enlarged teeth, for seeing enlarged teeth, teeth enlarged, teeth enlarged. How, sir? There, in the case of the dentist, what will they do? They will place the teeth in front of C and F. Sir, how, sir? The dentist will have a headgear. The headgear will have a, the dentist will have a headgear. The headgear will have a concave mirror. Using this concave mirror, the dentist will put your teeth between C and F. So he will get a inverted enlarged image. So seeing your tooth decay, inverted is not really a big issue. Tooth decay, either erect or inverted, is still tooth decay. He simply wants to see the tooth decay. He is not going to see a movie using the mirror. So it is not really an issue. So the dentist uses concave mirror for seeing the teeth enlarged. When the teeth becomes the object and it is placed between C and F, he is getting an enlarged image beyond C. Are you able to understand this? Okay, sir, I am able to understand this. Another very, very interesting thing. Yes, sir. What is this interesting thing? Compare this. For in a concave mirror, as the object is coming near to the spherical mirror, the image is moving away from the spherical mirror. As the especially for all real images, right now I am not bothered about the one virtual image which is forming in the concave mirror. I am only comparing the real images that are formed in the concave mirror. For all the real images that are formed in the concave mirror, as the object is moving towards the mirror. Look here. Here the object is at infinity. Image is at F. Object is just beyond C. Slowly the this thing, image is coming like this. So the object is moving towards the mirror. As the object is moving towards the mirror, the image is literally running away from the mirror. The image is literally running away from the mirror. Are you able to understand this particular idea? Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Okay, Kana. What next? I can talk about magnification. Sir, what is magnification? Magnification is comparison of the size of the image with size of the object. In fact, the formula for magnification is M is equal to hee-ho. What is hee-ho? Like a horse. Hee-ho. Height of the image. Hee-ho. Height of the object. So you are comparing the height of the image with the height of the object. That is basically magnification. Can we do the understanding of magnification for each and everything in another 30 seconds? Absolutely, sir. Magnification. Hee-ho. Before going for before understanding magnification, we need to understand a type of mathematics that has already been taught in 9th. What, sir? Let us take a fraction a by b. Here a by b is a fraction. Okay, sir. In a by b, if a is lesser, this entire fraction is going to be lesser than 1. If the numerator is lesser than denominator, if the numerator is lesser than denominator, the entire fraction is lesser than 1. Sir, give an example for this particular idea. Okay, let us take 2 by 5. So for 2 by 5, what is the value? The value is going to be 0.4. Am I right or wrong? Check it out. The value is going to be 0.4. That is fine, sir. Let us say the b value is lesser than a. The denominator value is lesser than a. Now what will happen? Automatically this will be greater than 1. How? So let us take 5 by 2. Here 2 is lesser than 5. Denominator is lesser than numerator. If you divide it, I am getting 2 by 5, which is in fact greater than 1. So if the numerator is lesser than the denominator, the total value is lesser than 1. If the denominator is lesser than the numerator, then the total value is greater than 1. Are you able to understand this? Yes, sir. Now come here. Here, which is less? Sir, here obviously I am getting a point image. So, height of the image is very less. If height of the image is less, come here. If height of the image is less, the numerator is less, automatically the total fraction will be lesser than 1. So the magnification will be lesser than 1. Are you able to understand how I just did this? Magnification is he by ho. Here it is a point image. So height of the image is going to be less. Here the numerator is less. If the numerator is lesser than the denominator, automatically that entire value is lesser than 1. What about this condition? Magnification is equal to he by ho. Okay, here I am getting a same sized image. He and ho are same length. So they will get cancelled with one another. My magnification is simply 1. Here they will get cancelled with one another. The magnification is simply 1. Okay, what about this particular case? Magnification is equal to he by ho. Okay, if magnification is equal to he by ho, here I am getting a very enlarged image at infinity. So obviously he is going to be very high. He is going to be very high. If he is going to be very high, let me repeat myself. If he is going to be very high, what is happening? If he is going to be very high, obviously numerator is high. If the numerator is high, denominator is low. If the denominator is low, automatically this will be greater than 1. Magnification is greater than 1. What about this condition? Magnification is once more he by ho, which is less over here. I am getting a diminished image. Hi is less over here. Automatically magnification is lesser than 1. What about in this condition? Magnification is nothing but he by ho. Here I am getting an enlarged image. Enlarged image means object is very small. If the denominator is small, automatically greater than 1. Magnification is greater than 1. What about this condition? Magnification is equal to he by ho. Yeah, okay, sir. I am getting once more a very enlarged image. Enlarged image means the object is very small. If the object is small, automatically my denominator is small. If my denominator is small, I will get a greater magnification. What about here? Magnification is equal to he by ho. Okay, comparing magnification, I am getting a point image, which means he is actually very small. If he is small, numerator is small, which means magnification is lesser than 1. What next? Once more, here magnification is nothing but he by ho. Yeah, magnification is nothing but he by ho. Here I am getting a diminished image. Diminished means he is small, numerator is small, which means my total magnification will be lesser than 1. My total magnification will be lesser than 1. Are you comfortable with this idea of magnification? Yes, sir. But I need to ask you one question. Yes, Tangam, please ask me. I think you forgot to tell about the applications of convex mirror. You did tell me a lot of applications of concave mirror, yeah? But you never told me the application of convex mirror. Absolutely sorry. In vehicles, right, there is a rear view mirror. You are able to see what is coming behind using a mirror in vehicles. That particular mirror is called as rear view mirror, and the convex mirror is used in rear rear view mirrors, are used in rear view mirrors. Okay sir, what is the reason? Okay, when something is coming behind you, you need to be able to see it, you need to be able to see the entire thing. So you need to have a erect image, because if it is inverted, it will frustrate you. Yeah, so you need to have a erect image. Also you need to have a virtual image, and it needs to be diminished. Why does the image in a rear view mirror need to be diminished? You need to see the entire scenario which is happening behind you. In order for that, you need to have a diminished image. Also, convex mirrors have a wide field of view. Convex mirrors have a wide field of view. What is wide field of view? Wide field of view means you are able to see the entire thing that is happening behind. That is basically called as wide field of view. So what is the reason convex mirrors are used in rear view mirrors? Because they produce a erect, virtual and a diminished image with a wide field of view. It is a very, very important application of convex mirror. This is a very, very important application of convex mirror. Yeah, are you able to understand what is happening over here? Cheers, Tanga. That's basically everything. In this particular lecture, I have condensed a lot of stuff. This lecture is very, very important. I have taught you about the different types of positions, different types of images that can be formed by different objects which are placed at different places. What next, sir? I have related all your applications over here. What next, sir? I have taught about magnification. How is magnification? He by ho. You are comparing the height of the image with the height of the object. So height of the image is compared with whatever is in the denominator, which is height of the object. Height of the image is compared with whatever is in the denominator, which is height of the object. Yeah, hope you guys understood this entire thing. This lecture is very, very important. In the next lecture, I will teach you about sign conventions, and I will immediately go for some very, very beautiful, often repeated CBSE board problems. Yeah, cheers and thank you for listening to me. Obviously, that is the end of the lecture. If you like our lectures, yeah, like us, subscribe to our channel, recommend our videos and our channel to your friends, and in social media. We are going to have so much fun learning physics, chemistry, biology, political science, history, economics, mathematics, all the subjects together right over here at Gully Classroom. Cheers, Datangam.